The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom offers a link between the two worlds of Nintendo's iconic action-adventure franchise. It has the playfulness and freeform puzzles of Tears of the Kingdom and the traditional dungeon design the franchise was known for prior to Breath of the Wild's seismic shakeup. Echoes of Wisdom deftly bounces from past to present and establishes its own identity, turning the page to start a new legend for Princess Zelda. From a narrative perspective, the role reversal makes little impact, largely because Echoes of Wisdom is light on story. A malevolent force is creating rifts across Hyrule that turn residents of Hyrule, including Link and Zelda's father, into statues inside the dark and dreary dimension known as the Still World. When Zelda is accused of being behind the rifts, she meets Tri, an ethereal being who accompanies her on her quest to save Hyrule. Though some express momentary shock that Zelda is the kingdom's only hope, she is mostly viewed like Link, as the one person capable of defeating the evil threatening to consume Hyrule. The shift to play as Zelda markedly alters combat and puzzles, and adds a lot more platforming than usual. With the Tri-Rod, Zelda can create echoes of objects and every monster besides bosses. Since Zelda is incapable of attacking directly, these friendly copies of monsters serve as the main form of combat. Each echo has a cost, and going beyond your current max deletes the oldest echoes you created. Because there isn't a cooldown period and you can delete echoes at any time, this seemingly passive combat system becomes far more active and exciting as your roster of echoes expands and you're able to use more at once. Much like Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, there's no wrong way to vanquish enemies. Do you want to create rocks and hurl them at your enemies repeatedly? You can do that. Command zeros to spew bombs everywhere? Check. Create a death ring of path blades that slice those armored moblins and Lizalfos while you nap on a bed and regenerate health? It's an effective strategy. Zelda does wield Link's traditional weapons in sword fighter form, though this is tied to an upgradable energy gauge. When used in combination with echoes, sword fighter form is a powerful, complementary mechanic that adds another layer to the organized chaos of Echoes of Wisdom's combat. Along with monsters, Zelda can create copies of inanimate objects. Coupled with Zelda's innate ability to jump from the start, object echoes serve as the connective tissue of this cleverly designed iteration of Hyrule. Many platforming sequences revolve around building makeshift staircases and bridges with a charmingly light-hearted set of tools such as beds, end tables, decorative trees, trampolines, and clouds. This random assortment leads to some humorous situations, but Zelda's most enviable skill is the ability to nap anywhere, even in the middle of boss fights. Echoes of Wisdom goes all in on the echo mechanic, and the end result feels different than any previous game in the series. Similar to Tears of the Kingdom's Ultra Hand rune, Zelda can latch onto echoes and move them with Tri's help. It's a more rudimentary system, as you can't turn objects and you are mostly stacking objects to cross gaps or solve puzzles. But many echoes are extremely versatile on their own. Water blocks can be stacked vertically or horizontally into towers and tunnels to swim through. This echo is immensely useful for reaching new platforms, but it also has a cool alternative use case. You can create an above-ground pool and then pull flying enemies into the water to eliminate them instantly. Finding these numerous ways to guide enemies to certain death with the help of echoes is one of the game's many joys. Monster echoes can be followed as well, which takes you airborne or through strong underwater currents to reach new places. Nintendo struck a great balance of old and new with Echoes of Wisdom's structure and overarching level design. The lead up to dungeons takes cues from Tears of the Kingdom with multi-part quests, including a trip to the Still World to find Tri's friends and clear the corrupted stretch of land. The Still World is a gloomy platforming playground with more aggressive monsters and segmented islands that effectively teach you the rules of the region before you enter the proper dungeon. Tears of the Kingdom's temples had traditional names, but they were quite different from the conventional old-school formula. The 7 dungeons here bring back the classic template of multiple floors, rooms with automatically shutting doors, small keys to find, and a big chest with the boss key. Besides Hyrule Castle, they retain elemental themes such as Faron Temple's forest theme, Lanayru Temple's ice theme, and Jabul Ruins water theme. One of the biggest strengths of these dungeons is how familiar puzzles with ground switches, torches, and other franchise staples feel radically fresh. Puzzles evolve in scale and complexity as the number of echoes you can use at once increases. Don't let the cute, toy-like graphical style deceive you. Some of the puzzles are trickier than the ones found in Tears of the Kingdom, and like all good logic puzzles, you can arrive at a solution by taking one of many different approaches. Combat isn't as challenging as the pair of open-world Zelda games, but it's possible to get wrecked pretty quickly if you don't spawn monsters that match up well with the enemy, especially in boss fights, which are lengthier than usual for a top-down Zelda game. Even early bosses such as the Flying Mole with sunglasses in the Gerudo Ruins can be tricky because of its fast underground movements and quicksand that makes some monsters incapable of putting up much of a fight. The classic-style dungeons are flanked by many side quests and minigames that in many ways mirror Tears of the Kingdom's side activities, and these are all well worth tackling because useful echoes and items are tied to side quests. Even your horse is tied to a side quest. Horseback riding is a first for top-down Zelda games, though it's more of a neat bonus rather than a practical addition due to the generous fast travel system and constant emphasis on using echoes. Searching for collectibles is a major fixture for the franchise, and Echoes of Wisdom brings back the collectible most fans think of first, heart pieces. A good chunk of the 40 heart pieces are obscured by some of the trickiest puzzles in the game. Like usual, 4 pieces equals a heart container, which you also get by defeating each dungeon boss. Outside of heart pieces, you'll find might pieces that can upgrade Zelda's sword fighter form, providing yet another worthwhile incentive for exploration. On the sillier side of things, a bizarre new character named Stamp Guy wants to share his love of stamps with you. Filling up stamp cards is worth it simply to see what Stamp Guy will say and do next. Echoes of Wisdom also makes use of quality of life features and systems from the franchise's new era, including an interactive map with objective markers and pins. Inventory and quick menu systems are very similar too. Scrolling through 100 plus echoes can be somewhat cumbersome, but multiple sorting options make it manageable. Fruits and monster parts can be mixed at Deku smoothie shops in each town to make drinks. The smoothie crafting system isn't as robust as meal prep, but they serve the same purpose, restoring health and offering limited time buffs to various aspects like resistance to damage and fire. You can also acquire several different optional outfits from side quests, shops, and scanning amiibo. Like the Link's Awakening remake, Echoes of Wisdom has a vibrant and colorful visual palette. Unfortunately, it also has intermittent frame rate issues, albeit to a lesser extent. It's a larger game with a lot more moving pieces, so its clear optimizations to the engine were made. Critically, rapidly conjuring echoes doesn't lead to frame rate drops. Instead, the slowdown, like in Link's Awakening, shows up when exploring the main map. Along the way during my first playthrough, I triggered a bug that stopped me from entering Goron City, leaving me unable to complete the Fire Temple. As a result, I had to abandon my nearly finished save file and start again. I didn't encounter the issue during my second playthrough, and it had no clear fix. Nintendo has indicated it is looking into the cause of the bug. Structurally, Echoes of Wisdom can be described as semi-open world. Most of the map is accessible from the start, though you'll need to upgrade the Tri-Rod to reach collectibles and solve certain puzzles throughout the overworld. You have some freedom with the order you tackle main quests. You can pick whether to complete the Gerudo Desert or Jabul Waters main quests in the front half of the game. In the back half, the larger 3 temples can be visited in the order of your choosing too. It's not Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild big, but Echoes of Wisdom offers a greater degree of freedom than many fans would likely expect from a top-down Zelda game. If Zelda's debut in the spotlight is a one-off, at least it's a memorable adventure, but hopefully this is the beginning of a new legend for the heroine. Echoes of Wisdom's brilliantly integrated ecosystems links 2 eras, proving that the freeform mechanics of the new age can coexist with the franchise's classic formula. Don't mistake this for a spin-off or minor entry between big mainline games. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is a major moment that shouldn't be missed.